Hey everyone, good evening. Welcome to Popcast on the Rocks. This is Saturday, May 2nd, new month, episode 16. How are you doing this evening, Andrea?
I am doing very well. How about yourself, John?
Good, tired, but
Long
otherwise
day in the
great.
field.
Yep, yep.
At least it was nice and sunny out for you.
Was a sunny, um, gets like wind whipped though, wind
Yes.
rolling through.
Yes, I don't know that I've remembered a spring that's been so windy so far.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like we notice wind a lot with our place. With we got a
Oh,
lot of
sure.
not as many trees and stuff right now, but yeah,
Yeah, I was
so
gonna
it's
say you're
how
kind
it
of out in the open there.
yeah, it's sort of on a hill a little bit, good for defending, we could see the area and like yeah.
Did you think about that when you were
Yep.
thinking about
So
like this is
we
where we
were
should build our home
mhm,
defensible,
yep, trebuchet over there and
right?
yeah. Mhm.
Moat over here.
Yeah. So, yeah, how are you doing?
Good, good. Getting outside a little bit more. Went for a walk the other day around one of our many fine lakes in Minnesota. Um, Hung out with some friends, socially distant,
Sure.
on their patio. So trying
Oh,
to see
cool.
people but be appropriate about it. So yeah, it's been nice.
Gotta take advantage of the weather. It was like 85 the other day,
Yeah,
yesterday.
yeah.
It's
I mean, it
nuts.
was gorgeous. So
Yeah.
I mean, why not?
Yep. Um, well, I saw that you had marked it's Kentucky Derby Day. I don't know anything about
Or
that really.
or it would be
Oh,
should
well, okay.
yes.
Okay. All right.
Traditionally, this Saturday would be the day of the Kentucky Derby, which of course would be a big to do down there in Louisville. I think I'm saying that
Yeah.
right. I know they get like very particular about the way you say like Louisville. Um, but yes, today would be the annual running of the Kentucky Derby, were that, of course, possible,
Nice.
barring COVID-19.
Yeah.
But yeah, I always followed that just because I was super into horses as a kid, as I think
Okay.
many young girls are. Like we just have this
Yeah.
like weird kind of
Why is that?
fascination.
Why
I
is
don't
that?
really know. Um,
Mm,
but I feel like it's mostly women that I talk to that as little girls were all like, hey, I want to grow
yeah.
up and ride horses. And I was definitely one of those people. I thought I was going to be a jockey, until like the age
Oh,
of 13. I was super
okay.
convinced that I was going to do it. But then I had a growth spurt and I got a little too tall, actually, even though
You know.
laughably now I'm one of my shortest friends in our group, I think. But even I am too tall to be a jockey. So
Could be a hobby though.
could be, yeah. I mean, I definitely kept up, like, my horseback riding lessons well into high school.
Okay.
I loved it. I had so much fun. So I would totally do that again.
Yeah,
But
you should
yeah,
go riding more.
I definitely should. Um, but I was, like, super into, like, book series about, like, horses and, like, the whole racing world. Would catch the Triple Crown, which consists of the Derby, the Preakness, and the Belmont Stakes. It's the Triple Crown for 3-year-old horses, I believe.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, caught that every year, was super into that for a long time, so
Did
today
you
is Derby day.
did you read all the romance novels with the like shirtless guy next to the horse, the like riding the horse and like just
No, no, I
is
should now though and see what I think about it. Cause like, as like a 10-year-old kid, I was reading like teen, horseback club riding stuff and like,
Hmm.
other like
Yep.
teen, protagonists who wanted to be in the competitive world of horse racing. And I was like, oh, it's so cool. And they have like their
Yeah.
little teen romance. So yeah, so now I should go back and like try to read some like adult stuff and see how ridiculous I find it.
Well, I don't want to I I'm guessing you probably won't play it, so I will spoil this for you.
Okay.
And I'll just warn everybody, Witcher 3 spoiler is here for just a
Ooh.
second. Alan, you don't have to put up the thing. It's like Witcher 3 spoiler. Um, but there is a you can choose to romance different ladies in The
Okay.
Witcher, and if you choose the canonical choice, then your love scene is on the top of a, like, stuffed horse.
What?
So, look it up. I mean, it'll be on YouTube, every I mean, sure, you can see plenty of clips of it or
I
whatever.
I definitely will. I mean, I sort of suspected where you were going when you started that sentence, but I was like, "No, there's no
Yeah,
way."
it's
I mean, I
gonna
didn't picture a stuffed horse, but I thought you were gonna say,
yeah.
like, on horseback, and I was sitting there in my
I
mind like, "How and where? And what would you do with what limbs?" And
I'm not
yeah.
sure if it's I didn't choose this woman to romance because I'm a good
Okay.
person. Um, but, uh, Alan
You took the
disagrees
road
with me.
less traveled
Yeah.
to romance somebody else.
Oh, yeah, that's a way to put it. Um, no, so I didn't get it. So I forget if it's a stuffed horse or a horse statue.
Okay,
Um,
still,
yeah, I forget
any
which
any way
exactly.
you put that,
Very
I'm having
realistic
a hard
horse.
time
Yeah. Well,
figuring out where.
unicorn, even Alan says, "Is it are you sure about that?" I don't remember being a unicorn.
Well, it's got an extra horn for fun. I don't know.
Yeah, ugh, yeah.
John's like, "No, I don't like it."
I do not definitely do not remember being a unicorn, but again, I didn't choose that path, so I
Okay.
will refer to Alan on that. That's fine.
I definitely have to check this out now.
Yep.
I will in the interim between this show and the next at least watch some sort of something about
Okay.
this and
The
see what I think.
the
Because
woman
I can't get past the logistics of this.
yeah. The woman I chose so I play the game very faithfully. You don't have to. You
Okay.
can, like, sleep with all of them if you want, but they'll be mad
Ooh.
at you then. So, understandably. But, the one I chose was, I think, like, the most boring love
Okay.
scene, unfortunately.
What
But
did you guys do it on top of? A bed?
it was in, like, a lighthouse.
Oh,
So the
okay.
top of
Ooh.
lighthouse. So it would be more realistically
Right.
romantic, you know?
Right. Yeah, I was gonna say
But
that sounds kinda nice.
yeah,
I mean,
it's not as out there as some of the other ones,
as
I
a
guess.
unicorn.
Yeah.
I
Mhm.
mean, I'm not gonna lie to you. If I had my druthers, definitely am gonna pick the lighthouse.
But you
But
remember unicorns and their sexual powers, right? That's
absolutely, yeah.
right.
I mean, there's a reason why, Deadpool walks around with a little unicorn
Yeah,
stuffed animal.
that's right. Well, I don't know how we got into that. I forget now.
Kentucky Derby and horses.
Yeah. Oh, horses.
Yes,
Okay. Yes. All
yes.
right.
So,
Well,
yeah, so yeah.
are you
That was
drinking a
a
mint julep then for
I
that?
am indeed. Yes, for Derby Day. I'm not doing
Nice.
it in a proper glass, unfortunately. I don't have a
Yeah.
tall,
A squat
thin
martini glass.
Collins glass, but yeah.
Yeah, I've got
But it's
I
well
don't have
done.
mint, so I just came up with a strawberry julep.
I like
And
your presentation on the strawberry, though, like the
thanks.
garnish.
Yeah, I thought like I
Very
just
nice.
did two slices of strawberry and cut them at opposite angles, and I
Yeah.
thought it was kind of cool.
It kinda
So
like, when I first saw it, it looked like a little, like, Hawaiian flower on the side or
yeah,
something.
when you
Like,
see
"Ooh,
it
what
from the
is
side,
that?"
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So I mulled strawberries in it, or not mulled. I muddled strawberries in instead of
Yes.
mint. So whatever.
Yep.
Oh, housekeeping. I should mention that Westworld is coming to a close this weekend,
Mhm.
tomorrow,
Season 3.
and that we've been covering each episode of Westworld as they come out, and we've been doing that as a bonus episode during the week. It's just on Twitch and YouTube, so you should check those out if you're into Westworld and then watching it.
And if you're not, you should definitely start because
Yes.
this season has been excellent. Season 1 is I think still probably the best season. Um,
Yeah.
Even though all seasons have been strong, but I would probably go 1, 3, 2 in my ranking.
Hmm. I'm not. I'll have to think about that.
Okay,
I'll
all
think about
right.
that. It's not over yet. I
True,
got one
true. I mean,
more.
I mean, this last episode could like just blow it all out of the water,
Yeah.
but I don't know. I tend to like if first seasons of shows are done well, I tend to gravitate towards that first season because it like introduces me to the world and, kind of sets everything up and world builds, and I usually appreciate the novelty of the first season.
Yep. Yep.
So,
This usually seems like the one that's most thought out.
yeah. Mhm.
So, well, this week we don't really have a like specific. I think we did this last week too. It'll be
Yeah.
potentially a little shorter episode. But we don't really a specific one giant topic. So we just have some news and lots of video game kind of news.
Yeah. I don't know, I'm kind of
Um,
in a video game space right now.
well, that's great.
I'm feeling a little like, I don't know, binge watched out. Like,
Sure.
I'm feeling a little like backing off of TV and playing more video games.
I mean,
So,
person could sit there kind of passively to shows a lot and pretty zoned out,
yeah.
and it's sometimes it's nice to have something that's a little more active.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm feeling a little like disengaged with shows just because I feel like I've seen a lot. Like it was sort of fun to binge
Hmm.
at the beginning of like all this stay at home kind of stuff, and now I'm a little like, okay, too much.
Sure. Well, cool. Well, I have some like more recommendations and stuff. And I
Mhm.
on the episode on our Westworld one this week, I talked a little bit about I think Streets of Rage 4 coming out.
Yes.
But I don't think I mentioned that it's on Game Pass. So I'll take my
Oh,
little
right.
moments to pitch Game Pass again. Xbox Game Pass, yeah, if you have it, it's a no-brainer if you're into like the classic arcade beat 'em ups. So Ninja Turtles and Double
Wait a minute, right?
Dragon and Final Fight, I think was the big one. And
Mhm.
then Streets of Rage, which was a Genesis, 3 games on Genesis. And I don't think I played them, but I
Okay.
played games like them a lot, Ninja Turtles in particular.
Yeah, same.
Um, so when I saw the art for this, I was like, "Oh, that looks really cool," and it's really got um, that sort of gritty '80s kind of imagined vibe
Absolutely.
to it, and we Ashley and I started it the other day,
Okay.
and
Liking
I
it so far?
it's exactly what I was hoping it would be.
Okay.
So I've been seeing some reviews and saying, "Oh, this feels a little stuck in the past or something," but it's like, this is exactly what I wanted, It's like
Right.
a 4K version of that,
Right.
like and it's, so yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I was just flipping through some of the still images that I saw from the
Mm,
game, and yeah, it's crazy like how much it can get cleaned up from like what I remember playing. Like
yeah,
I also didn't play Streets of Rage, but I played Ninja Turtles
yep,
because of course love the turtles. And just the graphics are so different. They're so much cleaner. There's so much
yeah,
less pixelation.
yeah. It's, I don't know if I'd love it as much playing it by myself.
Okay,
Definitely, I mean, because I don't know, I always played Ninja Turtles with my sister or whatever, like, you just
sure.
play those things with friends, like, it's a couch co-op kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's perfect for that,
Yep.
and, so, yeah, it's been a lot of fun, like, I'd accidentally hit Ashley and, "Oh, sorry," it's like you have the just those it's, I don't know. It's
Yeah.
been a lot of fun. And, I mentioned Hyperdot, started that a little bit as
Mhm.
well.
Okay.
For those that didn't catch the bonus episode, it was Hyperdot I saw 2 years ago, at a local game convention for an indie developer, and it's also a lot of fun with another person. It's just
Okay.
a little, like, get a high score, kind of you basically have a circle and you control a dot and other things come in on the screen and you have to avoid them all, but then there's various versions of that, and like the dots are bigger or smaller, or it's like on ice, or there's new obstacles, or like you can't
Okay.
see the whole area, like different stuff like that. So
Sure.
it's fun, like jump in, play a little bit, you're done kind of thing.
Yeah, that's kind of nice sometimes. I feel like sometimes I get stuck in a game where I feel like I have to complete a mission
Hmm.
before I can save it and walk away, but then, like, if it takes me however many tries, it
Yep.
starts to get really frustrating, and then I'm not, like, enjoying the game because I'm just
Yep.
like, "Oh, I just have to get to this point." So,
Alan
nice to
calls
pick
it
up something you can pick up.
a bullet hell. I don't know that I would describe it that way. I mean, I guess in kind of its I mean, usually in a bullet hell, I feel like you traverse in some way and stuff. This I liken it to Geometry Wars. You ever play that? The Xbox
Mm-mm, no.
360 for a while came with Geometry Wars, like
Okay.
or something like that. So, but basically, it's the same thing as a static screen or whatever. And then you got
Mhm.
all kinds of enemies and things coming at you. This is, I don't know, that's the closest thing I've played that's like it. But
Okay.
yeah, you don't always want to get into something giant that's like mega hours consuming kind of thing.
Right.
Like I'm working a lot now, and so stuff like Streets of Rage and Hyperdot are perfect. So,
Exactly.
and our gaming channel here, maybe these are good candidates for us to play together.
Yeah. Well, and, if I can ever figure out how to, like, save my gaming session from Borderlands, people can just, like, go troll those and get a good laugh
Well,
because
so what I think, and this be best for off show or whatever, but I think what maybe we want to do is like I like supporting the underdog sometimes, and it's silly to say this underdog, but the Xbox has built in streaming services to Mixer. And I think maybe we want to stream together on Mixer, and it'll be
I
under our own thing. Yeah.
Right, yeah, no, you're gonna have to definitely help me with the logistics of that because I did, go through Mixer the last time I played, and I know it's out there somewhere, I just can't find where I saved.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. See,
So I
okay.
so I do have to go find it, but it's hilarious if you wanna watch me freak out at skags and just, like, default to knifing them and laugh hysterically as my husband did next to me on the couch, I will put it up there because it's still my default. He's, like, screaming at me, he's like, "You know you can shoot them," and I'm like, "Ah!" Like, I literally have no words, I just, like, freak out, and my first reaction is to just, like, mash the control and knife a skag, so
Well,
yeah.
yeah, we'll look at it's probably under your gamer tag.
Yeah,
We'll
it's
find
somewhere, I just gotta go grab it, so
it. Many people are out there already laughing at it. You don't know.
yes, yes. Well, if I've put joy out into the world for anybody, you're welcome.
Cool. Well, I'll like just jump around a little here. So, like speaking of games, like I said, these
Mhm,
games, some of them that are in Game Pass right now, there's some other ones too, some really good ones that just came out. But some of those are good for the quick jump in, jump out
mhm.
when you don't want the giant world, but when you do want
Right.
the giant, expansive, ridiculous world, the Assassin's Creed game, the new one was
Yes.
revealed
Yes.
this week, which, to no one's surprise, is Viking themed.
Mhm.
But did you see how they revealed it? Like how they went about that?
No, I didn't.
So they had an artist. I should have looked up his name and stuff, but I follow him on Twitter now and stuff. And he sat down basically for hours. I think it was 8 hour stream or whatever, and drew, painted, on a computer, um, what was gonna be the game. So he started like ships and a
Oh,
castle, and like the figure in the middle was just a
wow.
black silhouette for a
Yeah,
long time, and he just kept adding to everything until the full like art that you see for the game now until he was done with that.
very
Um,
cool. I
so it's
mean,
kind of cool.
yeah, I mean, way to go for an epic live session,
Yeah. It
you know?
started pretty slow, I guess. I got into it kind of in the middle.
Mhm.
But once he got more going in there, it's kind of fun to watch. So
Very cool. Yeah, I'm very excited for this game to be released. I mean, I already love Assassin's Creed and I'll play almost anything that they release, but I'm really excited for this new game for sure.
I've never played more than 10 minutes of an Assassin's Creed game.
Really? Which one did you
Yeah.
try?
The very first one.
The very first Assassin's
Yep.
Creed?
When it came
Okay.
out, I remember, when it was announced, and I thought, "Wow, that looks really cool. That's exactly what I wanna play." And
Mhm.
it was feel like it was around the time that Kingdom of Heaven came out, and so
Oh,
it
okay,
just
yeah.
added to the, like, the Templar, the Crusades, just the whole thing. It was just right.
Yeah,
And then I found out, this is not a spoiler at this point. If it
right.
is, I mean, that you're playing a person that's being sent back into like the body of your ancestor. And
Yes.
there's a future sci-fi element. I'm like, ah, I'm just gonna I don't know. That kind of ruined it all for me.
How
So
come?
I just didn't I was so into the medieval crusades kinda thing, and
Sure.
then it's like, no, that's not really. I mean, I
Okay.
was into the historical fantasy kind of
Yeah.
thing, and then it was really, really it's a sci-fi game.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I sort of took it in stride because you just spend so little time in the present.
yeah.
I mean, you really are like it's like set it up for 2 seconds, get in
Mhm.
like the virtual reality machine and then you're there. So
Yep.
I kind of rolled with it. I mean, it was a little disappointing that you weren't just like starting off in there, but I don't know.
I kind of wish that years ago, they would have just wrapped that up. Because they've had such a, like, a tenuous connection to that, and, like, for a
Yeah, oh,
long
okay, I
time
see.
now, and
Yeah.
just been like, "All right, we're just gonna kinda forget about that thing now."
Yeah.
Because it seems like they lead up to things, and then there's no real big payoff ultimately for it. Nothing really changes. It's like the never-ending story
Yeah.
that I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like they're trying to move away in the sense of like, there was like the whole series was like surrounding Ezio, and
Mhm.
now it's like there's no connection there and with that sort of like storyline. So it's like they're trying to do new things. They're not really reinventing the wheel enough.
Mhm.
Even though they're like moving away from like a character, they're not moving away from like the similar story setup. But
Yep. So we'll see. I supposedly in the last one they teased some kind of twists and things.
mhm.
We'll see if that amounts to anything. I'd like to give one a try, um, again, because
Sure.
now they're becoming more. I don't know. Feels like and this makes a lot of the fan base pretty upset. But they are shifting the kind of game. I feel they're becoming more Witcherish, more RPG
Yep.
elements. And I guess in this new one, you get to customize your character more. It's kind of the first time you get to like change tattoos and do that kind of thing. So,
Yeah, yeah. You can change tattoos, like your clothing, your gender. So if you want to be a female and
mhm.
have it be a female main character, you can do that too.
Yeah, they did that in the last one too, and people seem to prefer the woman just for the acting.
Yeah. Hmm.
Seemed like they liked the life that was brought to it by that person, but
Yeah, I think that's kind of cool. Like, you can I mean, it's not only like, oh, I need to play as my own gender or whatever, but you can choose like who tells a better story as the main character because you're really not I mean, you are choosing between voice actors in a sense.
yep, right.
So,
Um, yeah,
plus I would say like this would be a good one to think jump back in on maybe because just like from the trailer, the visuals are absolutely stunning.
yeah.
Like just in this world, I just couldn't even believe like, the level of detail that was in this and like the beauty of the surroundings in this world. So,
I
I think that's gonna be a really cool element to this particular game.
mhm. I really wanna play Assassin's Creed Origins
Oh,
because
okay.
it's Egyptian, and it's like, I mean, in my ranking of, like, cultural fascination,
Mhm.
it's Japan. This is the top, and then Egypt is, like, right there,
Right.
and then probably below that is, like, ancient Greece.
Okay.
So, I mean, it works, like, play Origins and then play Odyssey, you know?
Mhm.
I guess I should throw Vikings in there somewhere too, but that was the kind of thing I want to ask as well. Like, do you think that is the Viking thing gonna burn out? Like, is this a good time for
Yeah,
this?
I think this is actually a perfect time. They're getting in a little bit at the tail end, but I think
Hmm.
that's fine because I think it's something different enough. There have been so many like Viking shows,
Yep.
like Vikings, Last Kingdom kind of thing. Um, and like the anime that we were watching that was
Yep.
based, in Viking lore. And then they're gonna do like this really cool video game.
Yep.
I think it's like a nice like capstone. I think this will be the sort of closer before people move on to something else that's going to be fascinating.
So, yeah, I was trying to think just like what really started the Viking thing. Because I mean, the show comes to mind, but the show's been on for years,
Hmm.
and Game of Thrones really overshadowed. And so I feel like that's not necessarily what did it. I think it's probably God of War.
Oh,
Um, if it had to be my guess, is kind of the renewed interest in Nordic lore.
hmm.
Um,
Yeah, I think there's probably a number of things that renewed interest in Viking era um,
mhm.
lore. Multiple TV shows. I think characters in TV shows who have like Viking origin,
Yep.
um, all kind of like you know
Yep.
compounded together. But yeah, I would probably say God of War was a major factor.
There's an interesting thing where I guess this is deviating a little bit from like, oh, this game's coming out, but the where in times like we see often a decline in traditional religion, and it has been for years and stuff, and in those times often, especially in times of chaos or whatever, or like uncertain times, people do reach out for something that's of structure, and something to believe in, the kind of thing. And so that often elevates other beliefs and myths and religions and stuff. So this is kind of, to me, ties in with a pagan kind of thing.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
like Europe has seen, I think, a rise in that kind, a resurgence in those kind of beliefs and stuff. And
Right.
we see a big increase in like ghost shows and all that kind of thing. Like we have paranormal conventions here we go to. And it's people that aren't conforming to a specific religion anymore, but it's in human nature to be looking for that thing.
Right.
And so
Searching
the
for answers and truth.
yeah, so the
Yeah.
Nordic mythology and the pagans that kind of come from this, um, I think is a an attractive, interesting thing, right now. And I hope this isn't the last, like the tail end cap of this, because I'm interested in it. I think it's cool, and also Microsoft is going to be coming out with their Hellblade 2 game. Um,
Right.
the and that game is more Celtic, but it's like kind of Celts and Nordic stuff. So um, I hope that's good, and I hope people like that too. So
Hmm. Yeah, I was just thinking about I think there's like a fine line between like a Viking and a Norse sort of lore and then a Celtic lore that I
mhm.
think sometimes gets a little bit blurred,
Yes,
that we
yes.
sort of like lump it all together for sure. And not like saying you did, but just like that we
There's a
tend to.
relation. I mean, there's a kind of, yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah, so I think part of the fascination probably is that not a lot is known about them. I mean, I know that we can tell things about certain cultures, but I don't think they have been like the focus of many like deep dives into like Viking lore
yep,
as much as there are with other cultures. So there's still sort of like a freshness there, and they're a little bit, you can sort of make it what you want in like a television show. I think you can take a lot of creative license with this kind of a
Sure.
group. Um, just because I think like it's tough to know like some of the motivations behind like them going out and like conquering different areas other than like let's go out and conquer. So I think
Mhm.
like you can do a lot with like ascribing motives to this sort of like group of
Yep.
characters, which is kind of fun.
Yep. Well, and if everybody should go out and look at the trailer, and I like what they did in there. They clearly hinted, well, they showed pretty strongly they had the English talking, narrating, and talking about basically the barbarism of these Vikings,
Hmm.
and then showing how that's not really true. So I like that because pop culture is all about hey Vikings rape and pillage, and that's
Right.
not Viking. That's not true. I mean, I know it's fun. Okay, our football team is Vikings, all this stuff, whatever. It's just not the reality of this of it.
Right.
Um, the group that did the raping and pillaging was an outsider group in the Vikings. They're not part of the majority collective and respected and all that stuff.
Right.
So, yeah, culture's got it wrong, which again we do in pop culture. It's fun or whatever. But I'm interested that this game maybe is gonna um, more people will see a different side of things.
Sure.
So that's cool to me. Well, I'm glad you're excited.
Absolutely.
I will go. So this game, I think you saw it was going to be demonstrated here, but Phil Spencer announced, the head of Xbox, announced the other day that they're going to be showing off third-party games and gameplay demonstrations this upcoming Thursday,
Yes.
10 a.m. Central Time.
Yes, and they are going to include Assassin's Creed Valhalla, so I will definitely be tuning in to watch that.
That will be pretty cool, I
Yes.
think. I'm excited. Microsoft's been setting a good pace for reveals and rollouts and stuff.
Mhm.
Speaking of pacing and I guess pacing of releases, Last of Us 2 has seen a couple delays and now they have a release date. It's in June sometime, but
Okay.
they just had a giant giant story leak.
Yes,
Um, I don't know if you've been seeing that around at all.
I did. I didn't catch it when it came out right away, but I've seen it out now. So June 19th is when it's supposed to be
Okay.
released, the day before my anniversary. But yes, I did see that there was a leak that seemed to indicate a possible ending for the game.
Oh, it's the full deal. It is the script structure, like the
Oh,
plot
okay.
points, the whole thing. I mean, it's bad.
Yikes. I didn't
So
know
if
it was
you're
that expensive.
looking forward to this game, if you're a big fan of the first one,
Right.
be on the lookout because there's definitely trolls ready to just try to wreck it um,
Yeah.
for you.
That's that's such a bummer. I mean, that's so many people's like hard work
Yep,
that goes into, making this excellent and making this a surprise and making this like, something to be enjoyed and revealed as you play and then to have it ruined like that.
yep,
I don't know. I mean, I'm not ever going to say that I haven't checked out spoilers or, if like small things get leaked, I'm, not going to go look at that. But like to have it be at that level, like that's disappointing for
yep.
sure.
I looked at the leaks because, or I didn't see the footage, but I heard people talk about it just because
Mhm.
I'm not planning to play the game.
Same.
Um, I've traditionally loved Naughty Dog,
Mhm.
the game company that makes them, because they're behind the Uncharted games,
Mhm.
and then Crash Bandicoot before that and stuff, But um, they uh, Last of Us Part One, it's such a dour, intense, dreary game. I
Mhm.
just don't find myself very often in the mindset or in the mood to put myself through it.
Sure.
So I've passed that amazing series up, and so I was interested in what the because people are complaining that the story is not just
I'm not sure
available
I
now.
understand.
Siri, what are you talking about?
Siri wants to
Um,
weigh in on this.
yeah, but that the story was bad as well is the
Sure.
so well, I'll let everybody else when the game comes out decide if the story is bad or not. It didn't sound spectacular to me, but I guess they're
Mm,
taking risks, so you know, got to try something, I suppose.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's a bummer that, if they are taking risks, or, if people are unhappy with the game, it's a bummer that, again, it doesn't come out after they actually play it. Because I
Yeah.
think it's easy to probably judge, how you might feel prior to actually going through the
Yep.
experience. And who knows, you might change your mind. I mean,
Yep.
it's always different than like hearing like, oh, I don't really want it to go that way, and then versus like playing it
hmm
through, it might make sense.
Sometimes, yeah, sometimes things are weird described, especially like bullet point described or something, and then in context they make more sense.
Yeah,
Um,
it actually reminds me, we played a trivia game this week online, and part of it involved like identifying memes based off of people's
oh,
names.
okay.
And it was like you had to match like pictures that were like, one picture was for Daniel Radcliffe and the other picture was Daniel Sadcliffe. And it was
Okay.
like a meme. And it was very funny, but like I was trying to describe it to somebody and it wasn't very funny, but like looking at the images and looking at the memes, it was hilarious. And it was probably the
hmm
most fun I've had like at a trivia, game,
Right.
but it just doesn't come across when I just describe it. It's not
Yep.
funny because you're not looking at the thing that I'm looking at.
Yep.
So,
Well, the initial thing about this was it was leaked by an employee, a disgruntled
yeah,
employee,
yeah,
that was not happy with like pay and some stuff. But then Sony said they found out who it was and it's not an employee.
right.
Um, I don't know if I believe him or not. I don't know, but
Mhm. Yeah,
yeah,
either way, I mean, it's, whoever leaked it, unfortunately, it's just
yep.
unfortunate that they did.
I hope Naughty Dog gets things in order because they have made such great games in the past, and they've been having a lot of like turnaround and they've just haven't been having issues as a studio, so they don't seem very together or cohesive on things. And this game has had a couple delays, which happens, but
Right.
um, yeah, I hope they get their shit together.
Mhm.
So. Um, you found this. So this year, E3 has been canceled. Electronic Entertainment Expo. All the games stuff is getting canceled. Gamescom. But what is this you saw?
Yeah, so to kind of make up for the fact that like E3 got canceled and so many other, gaming kind of conventions and things have been canceled, um, there is going to be, it starts in May. They haven't said exactly when like the first event is, but it's coming this month. Um, oh no, sorry. The first like Xbox Series X demo this Thursday is their first official event, and then they're going to have multiple events after this. So it's a 4-month long digital game fest. It's called Summer Game Fest. Um, and they're gonna like bring news, new games, digital showcases, do live gameplay for certain selected individuals who sign up, um, and they're just gonna like hold these big events over 4 months. So
Okay.
I think it's kind of cool. There's a bunch of different companies that are involved, like Activision, PlayStation, Riot Games, Xbox, WB, Steam. Um, can't remember. There's another big one that I'm missing, but yeah, a bunch of different companies kind of coming together and trying to pull together some kind of event for gamers to take the
S-
place of like all these canceled events.
So are they counting this Thursday's Xbox thing as the kickoff for this?
They are, yes.
Oh, okay.
I
Interesting.
just noticed this. It was on a Reddit actually from today,
Hmm.
so no
Well,
wonder I didn't catch that before. But yeah,
what's interesting is, so I know IGN is doing they're doing some stuff over the period of E3, their own kind of event that they're starting to,
Mhm.
work on or whatever. Um, Kind of fill the gap. What's interesting to me about this is Jeff Keighley already wasn't going to be involved with E3. I think for the first time ever this year, he was just not, before it was canceled, he was just like, I'm not happy with how it's being run and the structure of things, so I'm not gonna be there. And I don't
Mhm.
frankly know how Jeff Keighley's gotten such a big name in the gaming press, but he has friends and can like push and pull and things happen. So
Right.
um
He's a player.
yeah, so I'm excited for this. I'm glad that the event for gaming is nice. Just like Comic Con's canceled now,
Right.
it's just like these things. These events are really fun to be a part of, and I'm glad that there's other people that they're stepping up and thinking of something else to do,
Right.
that we can still eventize this.
Right. It's tough because I feel like in the beginning you sort of understood that like you can't gather in like mass crowds and like these things are, mass crowds. So of course like they have to be canceled. And now as you look into the future, it's like, but at this point in time, won't we be able to do this again? And unfortunately now things are being canceled because we weren't able to gather, together and plan them out. Now they're having to be canceled because you can't like plan them out in the short amount of time between when they were scheduled and like reopening. And
It's
it's
just tough. I
yeah,
mean, you've got there's so many factors. I mean,
yeah,
one, you don't know what a state's, dictator, I mean, governor is going to do. You're going to just let, it's varies per state. So it depends on where you're going to hold the event, and then you could set up and invest millions of dollars into setting up some place and having everything planned. And then like we've seen spikes, we're going to shut everything down.
mhm.
Now what?
Well, yeah,
You
I mean
can't
it kind
plan.
of goes both ways. It's we've seen spikes and we're going to shut it down or nobody comes because they're
Yeah.
afraid.
Yep.
So
So many
both ways.
unforeseen. Yep.
Or people come and they catch something and then there's lawsuits. Like, do you have people sign waivers to say like if we gather, we don't hold you accountable if we get sick, or so it's an extra step of logistics. And I think it's probably going to be hard for whoever is first,
Hmm.
to hold an in-person
Yep.
event again. It's going to be tough, it's going to be scary. So I mean, in
Mm,
in lieu of, the ideal, the optimal gathering physically together, something like this being planned out is really nice to say,
yep.
"Hey, we still want you involved. We still want you to get excited about these things. We're trying to bring you new stuff in an
Yep.
exciting way. Here's what we can do."
I wish someone would like put a stake in the ground and do an event. But yeah, it's just I understand it's so risky, and
Mhm.
you got to have participation, and
Mhm.
like you say, lawsuits, companies don't want to, they just don't want to risk it at this point,
Right.
the complication. And how fun is it if you get however many thousands of people together and then they can't get enough food there that
Right.
people can
I mean
eat? I
I mean,
mean, no one's at work. We're
right.
gonna have food shortages. Truckers aren't being paid enough to deliver the food. Like you don't know. You
It
don't
makes
know. So
it makes me think of, that disastrous fire festival, that they had, like, organized, and there were, like, food shortages and, like, bathroom shortages, and, like, people were, like, stranded out on this, like, island that or, like, this island, that there was supposed to be, like, this huge concert series on, and it was just, like, a hot mess, and then they made, like, documentaries about how, like, awful it was, you know what I mean? Like, this spawned like legendary size memes about how poorly it was executed
I
because
haven't
people,
heard about this. I
oh
don't
my,
know.
look it up. It's so funny, seriously. But yeah, so the whole event was mismanaged like top to bottom. And
Hmm.
there were, like I said, basically shortages of every single basic human necessity you could think of. And
Yeah.
something like that could happen here. Nobody wants to be the next fire festival and be the
Yeah.
next like butt of the joke.
Yep. Right.
So
Well, I'm glad we have things to look forward to.
Yes, yes. This
It's
is
something
obviously
cool.
something you can enjoy from the comfort and safety of your house,
Yep.
and, it'll be 4 months long, so
Yeah.
get ready,
Yeah.
gear
Spread
up.
it out. It's great.
Now
Yep.
till August,
That's awesome.
so
Well, hopefully in the midst of that, we'll hear something about the PlayStation 5. That'll be nice.
yes, yes.
So,
I mean, PlayStation is one of the bigger names that's participating in this, so
yeah.
I imagine.
Yeah. I noticed you said WB in that. The
Yeah,
rumor is that we're going to get a launch title for the new consoles, and it's going to be the next Batman game.
nice.
So
I'm
they've been
ready.
kind of teasing things for a long time and different stuff. It's
Right.
time they reveal that. So
Yes, hopefully they'll be part of this epic 4-month saga.
yeah. Well, speaking of things to look forward to, and you
Mhm.
don't have to wait very long, Rick and Morty starts tomorrow.
That's
Picks up
right.
picks up where it left off tomorrow night on Adult Swim. Watch it if you're into that. I am definitely into it. We bought Pickle Rick Pringles the other
How
day.
are those?
They're good. They're
Okay,
good. I mean, they're not the best like dill pickle chips I've had, but
sure.
they're
Still
good.
good.
Yeah.
Passable.
Yep. All right. We're running long, but we would be amiss to not discuss a little bit of the craziness of Housewives
You
this
know
week.
it. Where do you wanna start?
Wherever you want to start. What do you what do you think?
All right. We'll start with chronological order. So Beverly Hills is on Wednesdays, so we can start there. Um, the whole episode is obviously focused around this dinner party that Kyle throws as she gets back from New York. I mean, yeah, this was gonna obviously end badly. You're gonna gather like how many of these women in a room, sit them down together, and have a dinner, and then play a game that's like, tell people what you think about the person next to you. Like,
Ugh.
that's never gonna
It's
go
clearly
well.
is this an idea from the producers or something?
I
They're
mean,
like,
it had
"This
to be,
dinner looks like it's gonna be nice. Let's spice it up." Kinda
right?
me,
Let's
just
let's
like
wreck it. Yeah,
yeah.
I love how like Rinna tries to take responsibility. She's like, nobody ever likes my games, and I'm like, you've never suggested this game in your life, girl.
Yeah.
But yes, of course, it ends terribly as they do. I with Sutton telling Teddy, what she really thinks of her,
Yep.
which I
Mhm.
I appreciated on the surface because
Yeah.
everybody else was being so nice.
Yeah.
They were just like, "Oh, you're so strong and fierce,"
Right.
and I love like Mauricio in the corner, like, "Who are these women? Like they're
Yeah.
so nice to each
Yep.
other right now. I don't know these women." I
Yeah.
love him. He's just so real.
He's just, like, high all the time now.
He's honestly my favorite. He's just himself all the
Mhm.
time, and I love it. But yeah, Sutton telling Teddy, what she really thought of her, of course, like was never going to be a good idea because Sutton is A, mean,
Mhm.
B, way too truthful, and C, Teddy's pregnant and emotional. So
Yeah.
that was like a perfect cocktail for what exactly happened.
Can't you just I mean, a person cannot have known someone and be like, "What's your first impression of them?" You know? And, like, if it's not positive, can't it just you could still be like, "Well, I really didn't know what to expect from you,"
Right,
wasn't, like, a big watcher of the show before or something,
right,
thought, "Who knows? This lady could be boring, I don't know, but then I met you, and
right,
you're an awesome, super nice lady that I still don't know that well, but I'd
right,
love to get to know better."
right. That's all you have
Like
to do. And that's like real. I don't know. I got where Sutton was trying to be honest about, I thought maybe we're going to be boring. And I was like, okay, well, that's not exactly nice, but that's not the worst thing she could have said.
mhm. It's
Um,
delivery, though.
yeah, it was
The
her
way
delivery,
you
and then
yeah.
followed up by, and then I found out you were pregnant. Ugh.
Yeah.
And I was like, whoa,
You bring a
like,
child in this world. Ugh.
oh God. And I was like, Lord help us. And I was just like, okay, too
Yeah.
much, too far. So yeah, I,
She's
I thought
like,
Teddy
"I'm not
was
gonna
was a
cry."
little too reactive, but
Yeah.
still, I get it.
Yep. She does cry a lot.
She does cry a lot. And I mean, pregnancy doesn't help with that. So, of course, we were going to
Right.
get some Teddy tears.
Yep. Yeah, Sutton's just
But
She's
yeah,
she's
I
still
still
so awful. I like
she
how Erica's kind of snapping back, like quietly, but
yeah,
she's always like, yeah, the brands don't matter, like what, like because she's always bragging about whatever brand she's wearing, and
I
they're
know.
gross. They look terrible on
I know,
her.
I haven't
They're,
liked almost any of her outfits. Like, everybody
I
else looks way
right.
better.
Mhm. It's probably pretty sad. Ashley's probably upset by now, but Dorit is so on point. She is so fashionable
I did like
all the
her outfit for the dinner.
frickin' time.
I did like her outfit for the dinner.
Yep.
It looked really good.
Yep.
Yeah, no, I thought it was kinda fun. I felt like actually everybody was sort of, like, in a theme of, like, black and white, and then
Mhm.
Sutton was like, "I'm gonna show up in this designer weird thing that's red and
Yep.
diamondy and
Yep.
doesn't fit her well." Yeah.
So another example of tact or wording,
Yeah.
you put it in here is with the Aaron Denise's husband.
Yeah. That whole part of dinner to me was so weird. Like, people asked Aaron what he does, and he went on this whole, like, weird conspiracy theory of,
He must
like
have been drunk.
he sounded drunk, he looked a little drunk too,
Mhm.
and, I did think it was appropriate. I finally thought Sutton was appropriate for once when she was like, "If I was his wife, I'd be, like, tapping him on the knee and being like, 'Honey, shh.'" And then Denise did exactly that, and I
We're
was like,
already
"Yep,
followed. Government's
right on."
already following us.
That was so weird, the whole, like, "People follow us, and
Mhm.
Denise is protected," and I was like, "I'm sorry, how egotistical are you that you think people are following you because of your business? They're following you because paparazzi wanna follow Denise." Do you know what I mean? Like, if
Yeah.
anybody's being followed in that car, it's Denise because she's a celebrity and paparazzi, like, love to follow celebrities to take pictures everywhere.
All I'm
Nobody gives a crap about your business, buddy.
all that would have made that better, that scene, is if all of a sudden, like, Alex Jones bursted in. He's like, "This has gone to something. I know exactly what you're talking about. This guy," and
Seriously.
I
That's how
mean,
nuts he sounded. I was just like,
yeah.
"What are you t" like, when Denise was, like, trying to quiet him down and he's, like, yelling across the table, "She's protected. She's protected."
Yep.
I was just
Yep.
like, "Oh, too much."
Just protect, because I'm gonna protect her.
Oh,
He's gonna
God.
protect her, I'm gonna protect her.
It was so weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. That
Um,
whole dinner was odd, but I loved the, like, ending where Dorit and Kyle just, like, bonded and got drunk at the end, and it was just, like, fun
yeah.
flashes of them being silly. That was
Yep.
great.
It, Kyle's always gotta do the splits.
Oh, of course he does.
He's always gotta do the
I
splits.
mean, I guess if I could do the splits, maybe I would wanna show it
You
off
better
all
work
the
on it. You
time.
better
I
work on it.
better.
That can be
I used to be able
your
to do it.
go-to
I was in
thing.
gymnastics, so,
Nice. Yeah.
yeah, maybe I'll get that back.
Yep. It just goes to show, this is a good example, like, Aaron sounds nuts, but he's a really nice guy. I think he's
He
a nice
did.
guy, he's genuine, and just like, I've known plenty of people with interesting beliefs, will say that, and,
Mm.
like, it's easy, particularly in this day and age, to see people on the internet or something, and you not associating them with a person, and you're like, "Wow, you think crazy shit."
Yeah,
And it's
and
like, there's you know
yeah, I generally like Aaron, like, across
Mhm.
the first season that Denise was on, he seemed like a solid good guy. I just think, like, maybe this was, like, a weird moment for him. He was super drunk. Like, maybe he and Mauricio, like, went out and smoked a little weed or something, and he just got, like, a little, like, moment.
Well, he's into, like, I forget the branch of it, but, like, Eastern healing,
Mhm.
was,
He's into
that kind of
alternative
thing.
therapies and
Yeah,
everything. I get
energy
it.
healing, all that kinds of stuff,
Yeah.
so, like, but yeah. Oh, yeah, and you love him,
Oh,
yep,
yeah.
okay.
Yes, yes.
Mhm.
Thank you, Alan. Definitely. Yeah, I mean, like, that I didn't take issue with any of that. Like, he can do whatever he'd like to do with alternative medicine, and, if people wanna go to him,
That's
like,
the
I
term I
take
was
no
looking
issue
for,
with
yeah.
that.
Mhm.
It was
Oh,
just like
yeah.
his delivery of, like, "People are after me because of it," and I was just like, "Meh."
I'm I'm all like, diversity of ideas is
Yeah.
like, I'm all about it. The thing that I like or shows me who you are is how self-aware you are though.
Mhm.
So like there is a difference between like a confidence and being unaware.
Mhm.
And I get this with like, Ashley does the like ghost hunting and some of that, the paranormal, like in the paranormal community, you'll get people that'll go right up to you and they'll look you in the eye and they'll tell you some batshit crazy thing,
Mm.
dead serious,
Mhm.
and being aware of your audience and being aware that you need to like work on things with people, you
Mhm.
like warm them up to stuff and
Right.
just like, it's you
Yeah.
lose people if you go full throttle if you believe something that's off of the norm.
Well, and I think there's something to be said for building a logical argument. You know,
Yes.
you can't take people from A to G without
Hmm.
hitting like B, C, D, E, F. You
Yep.
know, you can't just like expect people to just follow. And I,
But
and especially if it's I don't care if it's like, out there or different, but like if you can get me there logically, that shows me that you've thought this out and you can like, get me there. Like,
well,
sure.
there's things though, a lot of things that aren't logic based, you
Well,
know.
yeah, you
They're
know what I
they're
mean,
f-
though,
they're
like
faith based or whatever, and so those things, right? I'm always looking for like rationalize this for me, like,
true,
bring me through it. And if sometimes you can't, it's like
sure,
and that's why, it's just a different way to think, I guess,
right.
but yeah,
Yeah, and I and
I know
I
what you're
I get
saying.
that, like, you can't, like, rationalize everything, but at least tell me, like, your reasoning, like,
Yeah.
tell me, even if it's, like, faith-based, I guess, or an intuitive leap, like, if you can describe that to me and, like, talk about it intelligently and persuasively, like, I can still, like, follow where you're going, even if it's not
I
my particular
I
faith leap.
I believe in God because I went to church and my wife went up front and the pastor put his hands on her forehead and she spoke in tongues and shook and then she was healed. That's why I believe. So there.
Cool. That is your journey.
No, it was, I'm saying, but that proves nothing. But
It
yeah,
doesn't prove anything, but at least it's like
yes, that
I
was your
think it
experience.
does. Right,
Yes,
yeah.
right. Yes, yes. Oh, well, Housewives of New York. Other
Yes.
one.
Yes. Yeah,
Um,
it was kind of a weird, like, I watched the episode and it was like a weird flashback because of course Beverly Hills started with Fashion Week and Kyle's fashion
mm,
show, and then I was like, "Oh, right, like this is also Fashion Week and a fashion show." Or multiple fashion shows, I guess,
mhm.
focused. But yeah, it was like a weird, like, "Oh, I already saw this. How funny."
It's amazing how disrespectful some of these ladies can be,
Yeah, wow.
given the like, I don't know, the awareness of their name, or the brand they have or whatever. Like, in this one, Sonia,
Mhm.
just like completely out of it on her phone the whole time. Like when you got front row seats
Yeah.
to whatever fashion show,
Wow. That yeah. I mean, clearly she needed it because she was so disorganized and it showed. Like, I thought Kyle
Hmm.
was organized before her fashion show, but she had partners to take care of a lot of logistics.
Yep.
So needed like way more help. Holy crap.
No music on your walk. Oh
Dude,
my god, how
it was
awkward would that be walking in the show even as a
I
model?
was so uncomfortable.
Yeah, just like silence.
Yeah. Yeah, it was I mean, so much of that was so hastily thrown together. Um, and so, I mean, I get why she needed to plan, but she should have like planned way before and way better.
Yep, yep,
Yeah. And then I
definitely.
thought it was really random that she like left that dinner that they were going to. She's like, I need to go work on my show. And then just like sat at the next table
Yeah,
and
yeah,
just
I
like was
know.
on her phone
Yep.
planning. And I'm like, weren't you going? Like, weren't you
See,
gonna
but
go and do things?
then that brings up like Ramona's rudeness. She orders food without everybody else. And
Yes.
it's like, yes, everybody could have been paid attention. Hey, the waiter's here. Do you want to order something? But I think it was Luann's point. If you've got our attention before. If you wanted to get our attention, you could have,
Right. You're
kind
not
of thing.
incapable.
And
Yeah.
do you see her that flashback or whatever of her eating oysters? That is creepy.
Yes.
That is not okay.
don't ever wanna see that again.
I know. This is like slurp and then like this weird like tongue
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah,
Oh
no,
man,
I never need to see that again in my life.
that's bad.
Yeah, no, it was a weird, like, round robin of rudeness, I felt like, on many
Hmm.
parts. Like, Ramona was still stuck on, like, her house party and everybody throwing stuff around, and then, like, Tinsley in her guest room, which I do feel a little bit like that was more justified than, like, the whole, like, "My tiki torches are dumped over." Because like, yeah, Tinsley had, like, plates of pasta just, like, thrown around on her white comforters and, like, cans everywhere all over the room. I was like, "Okay, I get that. That's, like, a little much." But, like, we don't need to recycle this again and again and again, and then, like, Ramona, like, you know, ordering her food and eating, like, without everybody, and then Sonia being, like, totally checked out,
Yep.
um, and then, like, sending only one outfit to Leah, who was, like, really annoyed about, like,
Yeah.
that.
So was that shady or was that an accident? What do you think?
I think it was an accident. I don't think it was that shady. I just think she was like, "Oh, maybe she can throw it all together and make it look, like, super young and cool and whatever."
Yeah,
I
she's
find it a
just
little weird that she didn't send, like, choices like she
choices.
did
Yeah.
with the other ladies, but I wasn't like, "It's a plot,"
But you can
'cause then
see
she
with
was, like,
how disorganized. Yeah.
yeah, she was totally disorganized, and she
Um,
barely knows Leah and just, like, probably wasn't thinking.
yeah.
Because, yeah, she, like, threw it on at the fashion show and, like, paraded around in it, and she was like, "What? I don't know."
Well, that's her, but
Yeah,
trying to
it is
prove a
her, but
point.
also,
But
yeah.
yeah.
I thought it was good that they didn't stay too mad at each other because
Yeah. Right.
I
Yeah.
kind of
So
like
far I'm still liking Leah.
yeah.
You put in here Rob and Leah and John and Dorinda. So what are
Yeah,
your thoughts there?
yeah, so I thought, like, the relationships that, these women do have, because most of these women don't, like, have, married partners.
Yeah.
So, the relationships that they do have and are focused on, it was kind of interesting. These women seem like more friends with these guys. Like,
Yeah.
I know Robin and Leah technically aren't together, but it was
Right.
so weird to, like, hear her be like, "Oh, we're like the best kind of married couple that don't live together and don't have sex." And I was like, "Isn't that just, like, really good friends?"
Yeah. Hmm.
Like, I don't know why
Yeah.
you're talking about, like, being a couple. And then, like, John and Dorinda also feel, like, super disconnected, like, they're together, but they're not together. Like, they don't seem to, like, speak to each other, go to
Yeah.
the same events, like, they hear about each other's happenings from other people, and I was just like, "How is this a relationship?"
It's
Like,
weird.
yeah.
It's at this point it's getting weirder than oh yeah, you weren't watching New York before. Ah, shoot.
Mm-mm. No.
Um, yeah, there was a woman that was on it for a year. Is good friend until like the last season she was on. Good friend with um, Bethany
Okay.
Carol, I think was her name, and she was dating a
Wait,
younger
wait, what was her name?
Carol.
Oh, Carol. I heard you say it with an H, like Harold, and I was like, "I'm
Oh,
sorry, go back." Carol. Got it.
I think that's what it was. And
Okay.
she was dating a guy much younger, but they just like couldn't. It was one of those weird things. Like they just must have been sleeping together and liked hanging out enough, but they never really. And with the way that Dorinda talks so meh about John, it just seems like that's not a thing.
Right, like,
Like
why would you be
I'm
in this?
yeah, I'm guessing John is like, well, Dorinda here, she's about like this is maybe as good as I can get, and I'm
Mhm.
lucky if I can be able to sleep with this woman now,
Right.
and that's why he sticks. And Dorinda is just scared of like change at this point,
Yeah.
just kind of comfortable or whatever. But yeah, they don't seem close or like they confide in each other or anything.
Mm-mm. And she just talks about him in such, like, a demeaning way
Hmm.
that like, I feel uncomfortable about it, and I would
It
feel sad if, like, I talked about Chris like that. Like, I feel like somebody should be like, "You got some problems here."
Yeah. This is the first season that it's been this bad like this.
Sure.
Like they've always had a kind of weird relationship. Like, why aren't you guys just like, why don't you move in? And when are you gonna like move the next thing? But this has been clearly she's unhappy right now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I feel like she's projecting her unhappiness onto, like, maybe her house. Like, I think she can
yeah,
definitely be unhappy about that, but I think this is sort of, like, subconsciously creeping into, like, the levels of dissatisfaction and, lack of control she feels about her house is really a little bit about her relationship.
sure.
So, yeah, so the relationships that are portrayed on New York right now just seem like very out of whack to me. Like they're just not
Hmm.
normal and not in like a great way.
Yep. Yep.
So
For sure. All right. Well, we've ran very
yeah,
long from
a little
our
bit over.
like, but it's all right. We got the stuff coming out here and stuff. So um thanks everybody for tuning in.
Yeah.
Um thanks again to the band Killing the Flower for our newer theme that we put to our new intro. Find them on Spotify and Instagram. And with our stuff, when we stream this on Twitch every week, we put it on YouTube. It'll be in podcast form on all your favorite podcast directories. Like, share, subscribe, all those fun things.
Follow us
And
on all the socials,
yep,
please.
look forward to more content. Game of Thrones finale stuff. More gaming related things probably to come. So,
Absolutely. Yeah.
all
All
right.
right.
Well, thanks for joining me on this Saturday evening, Andrea.
That's right.
You have a good night.
Saturday Derby Day. Cheers.
Yeah. Bye, everyone.